FSB Friday night Winston Cup 88 Series. Boston International Motorsports Park Raceway.
We'll call it Boston International Speedway, Milty.
This is Mel Minter Jr. with the man, Greg Bernardo. What's up, Greg? We both run some laps here as we look at the qualifying order. Why don't you run them down there and we'll talk about this series.
Yes, when we look at the qualifying, let's quickly look before we get to this race. Let's look at the points standings here, Milty. Robert Bochum has really had the field covered in the first what are we on, race 7 or 8 here, so not quite halfway through a season, but he's got the field covered. But Derby and the rest of the crew there is not too far back. There's a lot of tight racing, 2 through 6, 2 through 7 there.
Just want to make a mic check here, make sure we got the sound right here. Not hearing us on here. Okay, now I hear us. Okay.
You got it?
Yeah, I'm on a commercial again. I refreshed it, so I gotta get that ad popper out of there, but can't see what you're talking about right now. But yeah, this is a big time battle here for the points here, and a long series to go. And this is a different track, just over a mile. It's going to be totally different. Like I said, you and I both ran some laps here, so
yeah,
it's going to be very difficult to shoot too wide here.
Yeah, it has a short track feel to the driving, where you real feel like you're part of the track, and you can feel the bumps and the bangs. As we both found out, turn 1 can be really tricky, and there's a hump there that we'll go in car with a couple guys, and you'll see what we mean by the hump. As you get out across the start finish line and get into 1, the car really wants to leap up and down, and it's a real delicate balance between keeping control there and being fast off the corner, which is crucial at this track, Milt. It's a high-speed track.
Yeah, you're really hauling butt here, and then also you have hit road here. Not only the entrance is blind, and you're looking right out the crossbar of the front window. You do have choices for driver view here. Definitely cockpit drivers like myself that don't change, which you can do that. That's going to be one of the problems. The other problem is if you're in the top 5 or 6 cars there, pit road curves like a short track does, and getting into your stall and nailing your marks, it's going to be right out the corner of your eye, so to speak.
Yeah, Milton, here we're in the cockpit here with Mark DeSenza, who, you know, does it better than a lot of guys, and you can see right there the difficulty of this track as he gets loose and loops it, and that's how easy it is.
Yeah, and you and I are both running in the 24s practicing, and with no cars out there, and the setup is just absolutely out of the box, fantastic. Just another great setup by the FSB admin team, and but you know, with the cars out there, and when you're pushing the issue and trying to get into 23s, which we're seeing those, we're running low 22s and by ourselves, and you know, but when you're pushing that issue, and you know, with the draft here, it's going to be a factor. It's over a mile. These cars really are draft dependent, Greg.
Yeah, this track is fast enough that draft will come into play. It kind of has a, like I was saying, turns 1 and 2 are tricky. You really want it. You got to really hit your marks on 1 and 2. And side-by-side racing there isn't encouraged, and I think we're going to see it, and it's going to be a delicate balance sometimes between wrecking and passing there. But turns 3 and 4 really made me feel I could be aggressive, and if I get a run on someone, I feel I could drive high or low in 3 and 4. And for me, that would be my preferred passing, would be get in there better in 3, come out in 4, and race them down the start finish line and take the position, as opposed to getting into 1 and 2, which seems to be more of a single file to me.
Yeah, I don't even have anything to add to that, because that's perfect description of what I'd be thinking in my cockpit. Exactly. You know, turn 1, yeah, and 2, you got to stay low. As your entry comes in, and you attack that, you try to go outside in, the hill, that drop gets higher and the hill gets higher there, which makes the car looser. Really not an option.
Yes, and as they get into their cars and get ready to do their parade lap here, let's look at the qualifying order, Milt. On the pole, maybe a mild surprise to some. Ken Ron takes the pole over Robert Bochum, who's sitting outside pole second. Ken Hansen, who was really fast in practice, backs up the practice time, Milt, with a third. That's pretty good. And TG was also fast in practice, and he backed his up with a good starting position for TG. So I'm sure he's going to be happy with that and want to stay up there. This is a track. Track position should play a big deal here, Milt.
Well, you know, I think Ken Hansen's been looking for a breakout race, and he's run well and had some bad luck. And he's used to running open setup league. So we're going to make our picks here as they come onto the track. I'm going to go with the 9 to Ken Hansen. What the heck?
Hey, that's a good one, Milty.
Let's give
you know
him
what?
some props here.
I'm going to go with Sean. I'm going to go with the 5 car.
Well, Ken, you know, hung out with me. Next thing I know, it was like 3:30 in the morning here, and I think I was doing all the drinking, but he was really. We were just talking racing and sim racing, and he's really fired up. So,
and
as we go green,
and Ken leads them into turn 1 and 2, and they're immediately single file between him and Robert.
Too wide. Well, you know, now we get to see if it can work here, and you know, my advice would be to get single file here, but got to start out double file. Restarts will be single, but see these great drivers negotiate, and they're racing for the big picture here. Fire around.
They keep it going. He kept
that
it
was
down.
Going in the pit road there.
Wow. And looks like we stay green, Milt.
Who was that? Was that TG or?
Might have been Webb.
Yeah, it was the same kind of color car there. Let me take a look.
And there, Ed and Den almost get together. Ed going really high there and almost clipping Den. Good, Den doing a great job of wheeling it right there.
Well, Den put out a video of his latest painting on YouTube, and I shared that with a bunch of friends, including some of my co-workers. And these guys were just, hey, man, I got a video from you about this guy, and they were just absolutely flabbergasted, like we all are when we watch him paint with his mouth, you know. Yeah, we're watching the 83, and he gets loose right in front of Derby Dawn. Derby does a great job, and the 83 does a slide job and goes, man, if you could catch that, was awesome driving by all those drivers involved there. Derby saw it happening. He backed off it and slid and gently got off the brakes out of turn 4. And Steve was headed for either spinning or pit road or T-boning the wall there. And like a pro driver he is, he mashed the brakes and got all 4 tires sliding and got the push out of the nose and then let off the brakes and continued. No harm, no foul, no blood. That's cooperation right there, like Darrell Waltrip always says, you know. And we got more. Okay, I think that's the same. That's the repeat there. It took 2 drivers to make that from not being death for both of them.
Maybe it looks like Dean in the 060 is off the pace a little. I don't know if that was the cause of that last smoke that we saw.
We see smoke. Oh yeah, he hard into the inside wall. He got loose a little bit later. He's going backwards and trying to get righted up there. I don't know
you
if
can see that
is going to give
the leaders have already caught him here, and they're looking to go.
He's just spinning the tires. I think there was a rain here earlier because he is just having trouble getting going there, and tough luck for the 060 Dean Gotro.
Yeah, that's a tough break, and leaders have all gotten by him successfully. But how about the 9 car, Milty? Still hanging in there in 3rd and pressuring the 18 car here.
Well, we talked an awful lot, and until I was pretty much mashed. He wasn't drinking, but I sure as heck was. We're just talking racing, sim racing. He's done a lot of artifact, he's very experienced, and this is kind of a different type of league for him. And he's really excited to race here, to show well, and also to learn the sportsmanship guidelines, which are, frankly, a lot better than a lot of leagues. So, I think he's going to do well.
Yeah, he's doing well, and he's
off again. He's pulling over. I think the 060 is done. He's back on the grass, and he has disconnected.
Yeah, that's damaged car here is going to be no good. It's a fast track. You got to turn 23, 24-second laps here, Milt.
We were seeing upwards of 40 laps you could do this 200-lap race on fuel. I saw 42 in the limited laps I ran. So you got to figure 40, but can the tires hold up to that? That's going to be the question. Definitely didn't do long runs here. Don't know much about this track, but at least I had to run some laps, and this is a fantastic setup. I think it'll work late in the run. These cars get good tire wear. I think they can go until they see a caution. Guy Pitra on the outside of Michael Sanders battling for 15th place. That's a great battle there. Joe Cutter taking a look. He hasn't completed the pass, as we're seeing 2 wide racing here. And he does make the pass on the 191 of Michael Sanders.
Yeah, and then we see some good racing here in the back, toward the back of the pack. 5 just got around the 72 of Mike Pruitt.
Well, fresh off a win here, we've said nothing but Warshaw and his bad luck. Well, the worm has turned, and Sportsman Truck last night with the victory, well deserved. And I know in my sim racing career, a lot of times good fortune breeds good fortune. As he gets by the Derby in the 49. Oh, excuse me, that was Ed Finley in the 80. My bad.
Yeah, and speaking of Derby, him and the 17 car have been battling, and Derby finally taking the position.
Head
Speaking of
was right up
Derby.
against the wall there.
And Derby takes over the 5th position.
In the top 10 in 9th. This is a great run for Den.
Yeah, so far he's nice and smooth, staying out of trouble.
Yep, sorry. And also these looser setups with, he drives with his fingers, so accustomed to running more fast setups that were tighter and easier for him to drive. But he's put a lot of work in, and justified by accepting a pro membership and
Looks
running
like we
well.
might have a caution
We got
here.
that. We got a big wreck. Big time tire smoke there as we were focusing on the 16, and we can find that.
Well, the leaders are quickly coming down pit road here, Milty. We'll have to check on who caused that caution. I didn't see anyone backwards or anything, so we'll have to check on that.
Tire marks coming out of 2, I believe.
The leaders have this little kink here, Milton. This is another thing I found difficult, was that pit road right at the end is very hard to see your pit stall. Exactly what I was talking about also, which we, as drivers, we both tested this track, and it's funny because we both looked for, Rick Johnson has a hard time getting in the stall there. He has to wait. Tough luck for the 4-time Pro Cup champ. And the drag race off pit road, the top 3 keep their positions.
4 wide coming out of pit road there. Still trying to, man, we got so much action there, trying to figure out what happened here. Rick Johnson lost a ton of spots there in pit road, but he showed a lot of patience because it's lap 20 of 200, so get damage on your car. Being impatient on pit road.
Looking at the running order, we did know of the 060 retiring earlier after he had his contact and problems, but no one else out of the race, and no one else really showing any need for repairs or anything, Milt. So I can't really tell you without having to rewind and review it what caused that caution.
Well, I see an apology from the 80. Not really sure if that was related, Ed Finley, to the accident. Also, the 23 of Jim Scharf has a end of longest line, EOL as we call him, short.
Well, let's recap the running order here. The 303 of Ken Ron led everyone off pit lane there. He was the leader. He continues to lead. The top 3, the top 4 actually all stayed the same from the running order. Bochum in 2nd, Ken Hansen in 3rd, and TG in 4th. TG's having a great run so far, Milt.
TG likes these mid-range to short track. We've done some testing in the off season, and he likes these tracks right around a mile, a little over a mile, better than like a mile and a half. And he also likes the short tracks. So, and this has the feel of a short track. Could be a good run for him. Dave Jandry up in 5th there. We were just talking about him Wednesday night in Pro Cup. What a great speedway driver, mile and a half cookie cutters as they call them. But cookie cutter doesn't do justice to racing because each one of these tracks are different, so
yeah, we can see
they're not molds,
We can see the pace lights are off the car, so it'll be ducking in. And we're going to go back to green flag racing, Milty.
He's pretty much
Ken's covered the field so far.
Covered the field, exactly.
Takes him into 1 and 2, and looking good so far. Robert right on his tail, and Everything so far so good there. See everyone getting in line quickly.
Tour Dog up to 7th there.
And there's contact between the 17 and 53, and a hard hit by the 6 as well.
Oh, that's carnage.
And more carnage. The 191, the 5, the 151, the 8 car, the 20. It's a carnage melt.
Yeah, 17's severely beaten up. 88, 191, they all got damage.
Yeah, that was
the 8, Dino involved. Some of these guys that were in the farther back and missed that, or in front there, there was a lot of good cars that
you
got
see Mark
taken
with
out
a really
there.
hard hit there.
Tough luck for Mark. He did get a win Wednesday night. Nationwide, I believe. So he's back on the hoss, but he had nowhere to go there. But 17 came down and whammo. Guys in the back, they're pitting again like Jim Scharf. They got no damage, but they're in the back. They're going to pit. Got a ton of cars getting work here. 191, 88. 88 comes right out, so either had no damage, but the 191 is getting beat on.
Yeah, we can see that the 17 and the 53.
Beating on it. Michael Sanders is, and he gets out there, but there's significant damage there.
Yeah, the 17 and 53 got together, and the 6 had nowhere to go. And then right behind all that is where a secondary pile up occurred, and got the 191, the 151, and a host of other cars. 72 had a spin down into the infield.
Yeah,
the 5 car.
He was in front.
So, yeah, there's a lot of cars that might have got nicked up at the very least, to some that have some serious damage and could be the end of their nights.
Wow.
And we can see that the 52 and the 6 have retired, Milt.
Another tough night for Rick Johnson. Was having shifter selection problems and kept finding second gear. He was shifting in the third and it was popping in the second at Pocono. Another tough night for the 4-time Cup champion and 2-time Sportsman Cup champion. He's done.
Yeah, that's a tough break. But Ken and Robert and the two Kens and Robert continue to be top 3 here. They've held those positions since the beginning of the race, Milt. You impressed with that? And how about in 4th place there, Milt? The 108 of the Dog is in 4th.
Well, you know, Thor Dog, he's paralyzed from the waist down, and he drives. He was an F4 weapons officer, and you know, he's come a long way. You know, main thing was that he stuck with it, and I mean, he used to drive with like a little thing that did a little like your radio, how you turned it on and off. I ended up getting that steering wheel and driving it for 2 years. Not with that, you know, but he had a wire hooked up where, you know, now he's got a nice top of the line steering wheel where he can do the gas and the brake with his hands. Still, you know, he's a rookie truck champion, and he's in 4th place right now, man.
Yeah,
and he's against the big dogs.
Yeah, and he's ready to take this green here and see what he can do with this top 3.
I never say this guy in the 108 can't do something, because I always thought he would do well, but to be a champion, I'm going to be rookie champion in truck or cup. I said, yeah, you are, but the competition is so great. But to actually see him put it, now I think the sky's the limit for this guy.
Yeah, we can see the 18, the 9, and the 108 are nose to tail.
He's taking a look at the best, which we're talking. Robert Boca missed a couple races this week, and he had computer issues, and we were really sad. Guy wins a lot, but you still, when you're out there as a competitor, as I'm sure you can attest to, you want to race against the best, and he had a quick turnaround and we got a car around.
Yeah, we got the 23 running low there. I don't know if there will be a caution yet. 23 looks like he went around and went down to the inside, and looks like we still have a green flag out there still, Milt.
Couple cars on pit road. 83 just leaving now. We expected cautions here because this track is a handful. We thought it'd be more about contact than guys self-spinning, but I think it's when you notch up the pressure, try to push to that extra half a second. It's a lot of this.
I agree. We said, that going into turn 1, if you get out of shape there from that hump, the car can really do one of two things. It can push up to the wall, or if you're in at a tight angle, it could come right around on you. And I think that's what we're seeing is guys just pressing it just a little too hard, trying to keep up with this pace that the leaders are setting.
The 80 has retired. He was in the pits. They tried to fix it. Not going to happen. Ed Finley is done.
Yeah, some guys taking some punishment early here, and once you're off the pace here, you really are done.
17 is pitting. Oh, and he gets loose coming in. With all that damage, he might be parking it here because that car is a handful. It goes down pit road. I think the youngling could be done here. Let's see if he's going to try to get some more repairs. This is under green, so it's not going to be good for him. Knockdown, California.
There's the 17 in pit lane, Milt. Still up, and
he is done.
He looks done. Back up to the front here, Milt. We got a kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 car train has pulled away from the rest of the field. The 5 is the caboose, and the engine right now is still the 303. And in between, a lot of good guys, including Ken Hansen, the dog is still up there fighting away, and so is Derby Don.
I think Derby is just not, probably track position there. The drafting is taking a little air away, and these restarts they're definitely losing time there. But really, the class of the field is 303, 18, and a 9, and that's where it's at. But a long way to go here.
Yeah, still a long way to go. Checking the laps, we're at lap 40 only right now, and they've already pitted, so we know they can do 40. So I think that was about lap 30 something. So we should at least be seeing lap 70 if it stays green.
Props to the 44, Mark Fravord. He's had a couple tough runs here in the under the lights here, but he's getting some serious pressure from Joe Cutter. But Mark is solidly in the top 10 here in 8th place.
Yeah, and Joe Cut trying to make a run on him here and cut down to the inside. And look, and right behind Joe Cutter though is the 16 Den. He's interestingly watching this battle to see who he's going to take advantage of, one or all of them.
He's avoided trouble, and I don't know if Joe had some damage earlier there. I thought he was caught up in one of those spins. I don't know, but and as Dan goes by, Mark there.
Yeah, that's a nice driving there by Dan. He saw the opening that Joe Cut opened for him by taking the inside line away from Mark, and he just slipped into that same empty space and took the position as well.
Well, Dan and I are pretty much about the same speed in these types of tracks, and if I was on the track, that's probably about where I would be, and I would be looking at the same thing, which is what he's doing, is keeping his car clean, and he'll probably, try to ramp it up later in the race, but right now it's still real early, and we're basically at the, little over the quarter point of this 200 lap race.
Yeah, we're not quite at the quarter point. We're about 5 laps away from the quarter, lap 45 right now.
Right.
But the top 3, you could throw a blanket over after 45 laps. This is where they started, and this is where they continue to run out front, 1, 2, 3. But right behind them are the interesting cars to me, Milt.
Dog has restarted.
Yeah, he restarted in 4th, and he continues to run in 4th.
He's made up 3/10 on this lead pack. So,
and Derby's been pushing him, which I'm sure has really helped the lap times there, as the other 4 have stayed in line and really pushed the issue. While the top 3 kind of have been taking looks at each other.
Well, Ken and Robert Bokum, their teammates, are going to be strategizing this and the long run now. So they might just step it up here if it gets interesting. We'll see. Like the patience of the 9 here. Hope he keeps it going. As
Dog took a hard run at him there.
I'm on TV. I got my sister and my mom watching, and because they always watch his races,
Yeah, well, he's making them proud right now. He's running a great race.
Yeah, he is.
And the dog is just relentless in 4th. He's held off Derby's charges one after the other, and he's also pressured Ken several times as well in 3rd. So he's driving the wheels off those cars right now. And the 51 and the 5 are kind of just biding their time in the back of this 7-car pack here. And maybe they're saving their equipment the best out of anyone.
Yeah, and that's the difference between 7th and 8th. This is over 5 seconds, so that's you're in the cream of the crop right now. That's where you want to be.
And now we see that Derby has gotten around Dog, and now the Dave and Sean look to get around him on the outside. And you see Jandry go way up the hill there.
Well, this is our longest run so far, and we were expecting up to 40 laps. So, that's still a long way from where we're at. But we're probably almost to halfway on the run here. So,
and the 51 and the 5 were able to get around Dog, who falls back to 7th place. But if he can hold on to this lead pack, he'll be in good shape come the green flag stops, if that's what we see.
Dog falls back there, and Derby makes a move there, and he gets by him and Hansen. And here comes FSB Racing's teammate, Derby, and we got a caution. Pretty good time for Derby to make his move there.
And it looks like the A car had a problem.
Dino in the Hooters car, also from Madera, he's got
Oh yeah, he got
hard damage
a
in
little
the
touch
rear.
there. Oh, and a hard contact.
Talking a lot about his brother, Ben, and we should, but Dino has also moved his way up the ladder here, and great racing, great sportsmanship, and it's a 1-2 brother punch there.
Yeah,
That looks like he punched the wall there.
Yeah, taking a look at that, the 8 and the Dino in the 8 car there and the 72 of Mike Pruitt got together, and we'll put that on right now so you can see what happened here. There you see the contact. There you see the contact there, and around goes the 8 car and got just walloped.
5 is in, 88 is in.
Just got
72.
walloped by the 191 car.
Dog.
I think their nights might be over, Milt.
They got loose there and did what you should do, which was he locked the brakes up, and he was coming to a stop there. That's all you can do as a driver, but the 191 had nowhere to go. He was hard on the brakes, but
yeah, and that
which
was
is all we ask,
Yeah.
See smoke, you try to slow down. They did what they were supposed to do. But that's a wreck.
Yeah, and that was a hard hit too. So I don't think there's some mashed in cars as you can see on this track, Milt. This looks more like a Martinsville or a Bristol than a 1
Well,
mile speedway.
We expected it because of the car count and 22 cars started, and the difficulty of the track and the size.
Yeah, you can see the 53 car there of TG. The back end is just crushed in, and that car would be a complete handful here.
Well, I'm curious what happened to the dog here. I'm going to take a look if he got loose, or hopefully he didn't get any contact.
No, I don't think he had any contact. I think he just was racing hard and maybe used up his equipment a little more than the other guys, trying to keep up with that brutal pace that's at the front.
Okay, yeah, I'm watching it now. Derby just made the pass there, and there's Jandry up high. They're all racing for position. Those are the things, when I watch the dog there, I'm impressed with. He dealt with that situation very well. Didn't get damage. Knows it. He's learning how to race. And rookie truck championship. So you don't do that with smoke and mirrors, man.
You got to earn that. Absolutely.
You do it by great finishes and more points than everybody else at the end. And he just showed you right there. Them studs all around him there.
Absolutely, and that's great experience for him, knowing what it takes to run up to the front here. It's not easy. You have to run basically your best lap every lap. And we're getting ready to start this race again with Ken leading every lap so far, I believe, Milt. So he's been impressive, and Robert has
been dominant.
Been shadowing him in second this whole race as well, but now we got a new third place runner in Derby Don.
Well, Derby's, it passes. It's like a funnel, The closer you get to the front, the tighter that funnel gets, man. And what that means is the harder the passes are to make. But it's going to be interesting to see what the 108 does. You try to learn from those runs and see, okay, so I got to try to save a little tire so, I don't get beat later in the run. And but that's a magical art that we're all searching for every race, every track.
Absolutely. And with this track and like I said, with the low lap times, you know, you want to stay with the lead group, and he did that. Maybe
Definitely.
he could have fell back to maybe 6th or 7th and just ran in the back of that field and just hung with them instead of trying to drive, you know, from 4th to 3rd and trying to make moves. But you know, he gained the experience, and I think he'll be happy with that. And
Exactly.
he's still up there, and he still has plenty of laps.
Yeah, and he's generally on like restarts like that. I'm a little conservative, so I do lose a little time like that. But you got up to a second and a half to draft of cars in front of you when you got cars behind you to put you. Leave a little gap there and just get your, you know, the first 2 laps in this game in sim racing in general, and you know, maybe in real racing, I don't know, they haven't done it. So, but you know, how you use those tires up the first couple laps can really make a big difference in your long run philosophy.
Absolutely. And here we see the 72 of Mike Pruitt looking underneath the 44 Mark Fravert, and Den looking to go with him.
Ken Ron on the point. It's just been flawless. He's really kind of playing the cat and mouse with these guys right now, and pulling the string, and then it in and pulling it, and we'll see if that'll change.
Yeah, we see that he's not pulling away from anyone by any means. 18 is still there, but Derby Don is right on Robert's bumper, and there's Ken Hansen. That's I'm sure wants that 3rd position back at the very least right now. I'm sure he was very happy to run up there, and he was pressuring Robert several times, but he got beat by Derby off of in that late in that last run, and now Derby looking to the outside of the 18.
51, Dave Jandry, Slim Sim. They've had a good week, and you know, he's quietly right there where he needs to be.
Yeah, and there's my pick for the race, Dermilt, the 5 car. He started in the back of the field, but now he's trying to work his way back to the front, and he's done a great job here, staying out of trouble from the back of the field to now run with the lead pack.
It seems like the cutoff is kind of where the dog is there. After that, these guys have got damage or are just losing time on these restarts.
Well, Mike Pruitt has been making some time up catching dog here after getting by a couple guys, and Den's trying to follow him desperately to stay up and, you know, be trying to stay in touch with these leaders who Ken is just setting a withering pace.
Yeah, Guy Pitcher taking a look at Mark Fravert for P11, trying to get close to that top 10, and this is great racing right there, all over him, trying to take a different angle.
Yeah, and we can see the 18, the 49, and the 9 are just battling every lap here, and Derby looks, he's trying to really get around Robert, but Robert has having nothing to do with that. He's held him off time and time again. Derby trying to loosen him up here.
This pace, 23, 23, 24, that's lap 24.016 with a little wear on the tires.
Ken gets a little high there.
He does get wide there.
Yeah, Ken got a little high there, and 18 and 49 are really driving as hard as they can. There's no tires or fuel or nothing being saved right now by these guys.
Well, I'm glad that 49's my teammate, but I can tell you from experience, there's nobody, you know, he's Canadian, and he's like the Canadian hockey team, man. You leave an inch, he's going to get you, you know, because his focus is always there. Very mild-mannered, quiet. You know, everybody just loves this guy, like all the guys in this league. But Derby is just such a neat guy, and you just don't really realize how intense he is behind the wheel. And it's not like a bullying kind of thing. It's just when you leave a gap, he's going to beat you. Yeah, and Hansen taking a look at him.
Ken Hansen taking a look. Derby's taking a look on the outside. Look at Dave Janry way up high trying to get that momentum off the banking to run down the straightaway here. In an attempt here that Sean and Dave have lost a little time to the top four, but they're quickly gathering them back in once they get
Sean got him. Sean, the 5 gets by the 51.
Yes, he did, and he's trying to join this top 4 here and trying to make a move. And the 18 is making a challenge for the lead here, Milt.
Well, we all know how the mind of Robert Bokum works, and that is that on the track it's working. And what that means is that he's thinking, how are we racing now? How are we going to race? And how can I beat you later? Eventually, he's thinking in his mind now, we got to run here, try something and see if I can do this later in the race. Nothing that'll put him in the wall, but just for future, you know. Robert analyzes these corners. He breaks them into 5, 7 pieces. As the 5 takes a look low on the 9. Ken Hansen very wisely there. As they go,
they're still side by side here as they get into the turn, and now the 5 has taken the position, and that's for the 4th position, and the 5 is continuing his march to the front.
Well, I've seen a lot of drivers come from other leagues, and they've done great things, and Ken has been around for a long time, Hansen,
and here goes the 18 Milt, taking a run on the inside of Ken Ron. And it looks like he's going to take the position from him, and Derby's trying to come along with him.
Yeah. And he's definitely showing that, to finish that thought, he's definitely showing that here, speed and smarts.
Derby trying to get to the inside of Ken now. And it looks like Derby is going to take that 2nd position. This is going to be a side-by-side battle here.
I'm thinking that one time he got wide there when he might have scrubbed off a little
Derby,
bit of
tire. Here comes the 5 car, Bill.
Oh. This is pro sim racing, man. You gotta. That's the only way you're gonna pass. And we're talking about Derby jumping on the ball, and now we got the 2 Canadians going at it there.
And this has enabled Robert Bokum to pull away from 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Ken gathered it back in, and he remains in 2nd, and Derby tried to make a few moves, and that cost him some time when he wasn't successful. And now Sean right on Derby's tail.
Well, what I see there, Steve Weber stays high there, let everybody go by. He's severely beat up there, but real close to him there. They're running in Phoenix there. Big Cactus trying to get points.
And there's
the 5 taking a look at Derby. You were talking about making the move and the price you pay if you're not successful, and that's how tight the competition is here. Absolutely correct.
And Sean is on a mission here, Milt. He went from he stormed up to the front here, and now he's still battling Derby for that position.
Well, and that's going to be Bokum 1, 2, 3. That's what they're shooting for. And as Derby right up against the wall there,
but I don't think he touched it, and he got a hell of a run as a result of that. But now the 5 and the 303 are battling, as is the 9 now getting into the mix.
This is great racing. Woo!
This is a 4-car battle here, and that's brought and look who's joined the party here, Milt. The 88 of Joe Cutter.
Well, we were hoping,
where did Joe Cutter come from, Milt?
Well, you know, they're starting to race now. They were going,
unbelievable
straight line and just staying in line and making a gap. Now they're racing. This is bringing these other guys back into the fray.
And the 5 car is now taking the 2nd position.
1.43. Meanwhile, this is like the Batman, you know. Meanwhile, back at the Bat Cave,
the 9 car now is in 3rd.
Pulling away 1.43 seconds, the last interval. As we've been talking about these guys, the 18 is making hay.
Yeah, the 18
while the sun shines.
Yeah, he set sail as these guys battled away. But now the 5 has cleared everyone, as is the 9. And let's see if they can eat into that lead that he's built up. But they're still battling here as the 49 trying to get to the inside of the 303. Ken might have used up his stuff a little hard. Like you said, he got high that one time, got out of shape, and maybe got out of rhythm there. And with these fast lap times, if you're off by 2, 3, 4 tenths, you're going to get, have guys right on your butt real quick. And I think Robert was finally able to get a run on him, and now he's fading back here into the clutches of Dave January and Joe Cutter.
Yeah, the interval is down to 1.17, and they got the draft, and he's got nothing. So, you know, even though this is a little over a mile of track, had to see that coming. But that's what made that interval so great to begin with. But it shows you that when these guys get to racing, especially at the end of this bad boy, that's going to bring some other players in there. The 8 car of Dino Francisconi has retired. Dansbro from Madeira, about 20 minutes away here where I live, he's done.
Yeah, he got beat up in that big-time collision there, and amazing that he was able to run any more laps, to tell you the truth. But we still have a pretty good fight here for the 2nd position. The 5, the 9, and the 49 and Derby Dawn are trying to run down the 18. And as they stayed in line, they have eaten into that lead a little, haven't they, Milt?
Yep. And if you're excuse me, obviously if you're watching this, you've already found this link, but you know, if you're on Twitch and you want to watch our broadcast, we have lots of archive broadcasts. Got stuff going all the way back several years, and we've also got coming up tomorrow night. Team FSB makes a quick turnaround in the NAGP World Endurance Class Sports Car GT3 League, and Sean Johnson, we're watching here in 2nd place. We'll be driving the Porsche at Brands Hatch, so he's got a big simulated flight. As we got the 9 here,
yeah, the 9 taking a look. He wants that 2nd position, and Sean battling hard on the outside here.
He's worried about today, and what a great run for the 9. Go, come on, son.
Yeah, Ken's really been feisty all night long, and he's been in 3rd almost this whole race. He lost a couple of positions, but he's gained them right back. And it looks like they're making time on the 18. And here's a good run by the 9 right here, Milt.
Ken's very knowledgeable. He's been around a lot, been in a lot of leagues. He wants to fit in, and spent a lot of time talking, and we were sharing videos. He was sharing some stuff that he likes with R Factor, a lot of bitch and road course stuff that I dig watching. I was watching these.
There's a good battle here, Melt. 303 and the 88 of Joe Cutter battling side by side. Joe takes the position. Dave Jandry right there too, looking to take advantage of it too. But Ken slams the door down low. But the dog is right with these guys here. The 51 and the 108 chasing down the 303 now.
Well, I think the 303 had a different feeling with his car when he was out front and he had the air on the nose. Once you get in traffic, it's a little bit different. And
it looks like we have Sean coming into the pits here.
The 5 is coming in. You always worry, you know. We saw him spin it on pit road coming in and throw it away there. And
he looked good getting in on pit lane there.
He looked really good.
He did.
I mean, that stuff will get in your head, man.
Let's see.
Got a good pit stall on the straight line there.
Yeah, he got in nicely. It looks like the right sides are going on. Coming around, and now he's doing a 4-tire change. 4 tires and fuel for Sean Johnson. And the way he goes.
53 is pitting. I think we're going to see pit stops here. It's been a long run, and I don't think the tires are going to match the fuel here. So they're looking at... they're not worried about the future. They're worried about the present, which is probably a good idea because you don't want to be junk out there.
We see the 5 coming out of pit lane and joining the race again. And let's see if some other guys are coming down the pit lane yet.
We've got Robert Bokum is pitting, the 49, the 108, 303, the 88, that's the 83, that's signaled the pit stops, the 151, the 9.
Yeah, and there's
Sean Johnson has a problem. He was getting going there. Something happened there. I don't know if he was going to pit because he might have got a black flag or something. I was very curious.
Well, it looks like he's okay, Milt. It looks like he's still turning laps.
Yeah, he did a wobble out of turn 4 there. He might have just derbied on in his pit stall. Robert Bokum.
You can see the 303 is in. The 18 is in. The 49 is in.
Mike Pruitt entering pit road.
Mike Pruitt, I believe, has stayed clean. He spun the car, but I don't think he took any damage. And there comes the 88 out. And we're going to see... how all these positions hash out after everyone gets done with these green flag stops, Milt. Green flag stops.
45 miles an hour from Sugarland, Texas. Mike Pruitt in the pit stall. 4 tires. Nice stop. Dave Jandry coming around him. Yep. Dave, he qualified up front, so he's going to make that turn right there. A lot easier for them guys on the straight part. Nice stop for the 51, 72 exits.
Yeah, and then as these guys finish up their green flag stops, we'll have the running order up there so you can see how it's changing as each guy comes in and gets his service done and gets back out on the track. The 51 doesn't. Should be pitting, and this will be updating shortly once he finishes his stop.
Yeah, because it's all combobulated here, and
yeah, and now
starting to sort out. It looks like the 18 has prevailed. No surprise.
And there we see the 49 and 72 is on a lap down now. Battling it out, so side by side, Derby Don, 3rd place car, 2 seconds behind the leader, Robert Bokum. Second is the 5 car, Sean Johnson.
You'll have to see if Pruitt stays on the lead lap when it recirculates. Doesn't look like it.
And you can see the 18 and the 5 are battling for the lead here, Milt.
Well, that 5 is That guy, I mean, he's just starting running Porsches with us at NAGP, and he's got so much talent and only so much time. He sponsors the Pro Cup Wednesday night in his business, and he's got a business to run and a lot of things to do, and races every night,
and wins quite often.
And you know, he's had a little bit of run of bad luck, and he's just like the rest of these guys. The last thing he wants to do is take a person out. So when you've had a couple bad runs where you've had contact with drivers, it'll pucker you a little bit. But I think, you know, he could be on that upswing now, and when you see him running free, you know, he's going to be a force to be dealt with. I'm telling you. And as a road racer, he's just, you know, I foresee him like Kevin Lewis going way better than I am. He might already be. In fact, I think he is.
Now we see the 5 in front of the 18.
Well, now it's like if you're the 5, you're going, okay, well, that was pretty easy, you know. Am I doing this right? You know, you don't want to push too hard and fall back to their clutches. But
yeah, let's take a look at the pass here, Milt. As you can see, 5 car got a good run on the outside of them.
Well, they're teammates, so they are talking, and this
you can see
nice and orchestrated.
Yeah, Robert pulled down to the inside. Sean powered off on the outside and took the lead.
He had a run. They talked on the team channel, and there was no fight there. And you know, that's what teammates do. And Robert moved over there. Robert's a great team manager, and his drivers love him. You know, they love being a part of his team. You know, and it's not because he wins all the time, because he makes everybody on his team better, and he makes everybody in the league better. Because you ask him a question, he'll answer it honestly, and he'll help you no matter what team you're on, and driver, you know.
And as Sean continues to lead the race with Robert now in second, Derby in third, battling with the 72 and the 16, or are battling each other a lap down. And Joe Cutter trying to join in. Joe's having a great run in fourth so far, Milt.
And now we got a smaller field, a lot of cars down and out. At least on the lead lap, we got 9 cars on the lead lap. This thing's gonna cut. You know, now they're looking at long runs. Got 2 more stops. You know, so unless cautions come out.
We're on lap 115 of 200. They just went in about 5, 6, 7 laps ago to do their green flag stops. So I would be looking at about lap 150 or so.
Yeah, and then they'll have to stop again.
If it stays green, yeah, they would have to stop one more time. So this race is far from over.
Yeah, but you already got to start to think 2 more stops, and and what the field thinning out, and you have to think long run from here, which
absolutely. And who's thinking a long run right now is Derby Don, who's was a good amount behind Robert and Sean, and now he's closing the gap on them very quickly.
Well, you want to stay in contact, and being P3 is not bad. And like you said, Joe cut in fourth there, and he's within less than a second They're out of the
Joe
draft.
Cutt
right
is having a great run. He stayed clean. He was in the back with when there was some carnage going on. He was able to work his way through it without any, if any, damage, very minimal damage. And now he's right there. I mean, if there's a caution out, he's going to be a contender for the win. Nina Ken Hansen has fallen back, but still a solid run so far from Ken Milt.
Yeah, I'm taking a look here as I go back. I'm trying to see.
51 to Dave Jandry following Ken around here. Dave is in the 6th position, Ken in the 5th position, about 5 seconds behind the leaders.
I'm watching Ken's pit stop from lap 102. And seeing, because he was right in the fray of things here. And he makes a nice stop. I got Fox Sports 1 on my TV right now, and Dale Jr.'s just winning the Daytona 500 again.
Oh, and Joe Cutt takes a ride up the hill there. Didn't think he wanted to do that, and that cost him a lot of time there to the top 3.
I see no problems for the 9, so everything he did there was right on the money. I'm going to follow him around, see if he had, because somehow he lost some time there. That was a pretty excellent pit stop, so these guys must have really nailed it, because his looked pretty good. I'm trying to figure out why he went from like 4th to 6th there, but
and we got a shake up here at the top, Milt, as Robert was able to get back around Sean, and Derby Don is right there. The top 3 are very close together again. It's like Sean went out a little hard there, and maybe Robert let him go. You know, saying, "Hey, you got the faster car, you go ahead." But now Sean giving a little up with the tires, and Robert, who is always the master of saving equipment, has reasserted his lead here on the race. And let's see if Derby can get around Sean, or if he's going to be content to just stay in contact.
Well, they race as a team, and like in road racing, like you watch the Audi team in World Sports Cars or Toyota or Porsche, they have a rabbit that runs out there. Robert did this earlier, and they reeled him in, and you're seeing the same thing here. So they're gathering information, and you know, Sean's not too worried about that as long as he can stay in 2nd. But, you know, Derby's surveying this, and, you know, Team FSB, we've been around the corn crib before, you know, so we know a few things. So I think he's looking at it too there. So, you know what, it's going to come down to execution at the end here. But already still 127 to 200. But strategizing is happening, and how that last run's going to go. And then, of course, pit stops.
Yeah,
it's all about
execution
too.
Top 4 now are clean from any lap traffic. That's the 18, the 5, the 49, and the 88. Let's see if Joe Cutt and Derby Don can get together to get around Sean and see if they can challenge Robert, or are they going to be content to just hold their positions.
Well, you always want to flex your muscles a little bit and get in the mind of the competition, but competition's so good that these guys, you can pull up next to them and flex your muscles. They're going to look at you and go, "Yeah, so what? You know, yeah, go ahead. Here you go.
Exactly.
Get your stuff up, buddy."
That's right. This is has now turned into a fuel and tire deal if it stays green, and we know who the best is. It's Robert Bocum, and he's in the lead, and he'll drive the car appropriately, and if someone's faster, he's going to let him go, and if he's faster, he's going to go to the front. And right now, with him kind of letting Sean do all the hard work early in this run, he's taken the lead late in the run, and he's trying to put some time now on, so when they do get those green flag stops going again, he's going to have that cushion.
Well, and they're probably looking at around 140. There's no sense in driving it out. You know it's going to be green, so when you start to see lap times fall, they're going to want to pit. If they pit at lap 40, 140, and then they go, let's say 30, we know they can go 40. They go 30, that's going to be 170. That's going to be 30 to the end. So,
yeah,
as a driver, I'm starting to think
these guys could easily go to probably lap 150 if they wanted to. Exactly. But like you said, if the lap times are falling off too much, that could be something that you want to think about as well, and maybe come in early, since everyone does have to make that one last stop, no matter how you slice it. And
Kid Hansen has fought his way back there. He's right on the cusp of 1.5 is the draft, but he's got some buddies behind him there. Question is, has he used his stuff up to get back into the top 5 here and be in connection?
And the 5 did make a pit stop, Milty, while we were watching some other action, and he's back out on the track. So his green flag stop has already started, and that's a lap 135, so that's a very early stop. But again, if he does 40 here, he's at 175. That's still just 25, so he can easily still do it on one stop.
Absolutely. And Bochum's got Bochum Motorsports has got 2 bullets in the gun right there. So
yeah, the 18 and the 49 have. The
88 is Bochum too?
No, I don't believe the 88's with Bochum.
Ah, man, my team history is not well.
But Robert and Sean and Ken are our teammates. I know that. Ken Ron. And Robert's continuing to lead, and Derby's now second. They're both staying out. Sean coming in a little earlier than expected, but again, he can do it on one more stop. So once these guys pit, he will cycle around to the front again and see where he comes out is the question. The 88 and the 9 now are in a battle, Milt.
Well, and you look at the no skit 44. Okay, the 51 is pitting. You look at the last lap of the.
51 comes in hot. 51 came in hot, locked up the tires as he crossed the line.
Last lap was 24.9. Best lap 23.8. So
second off his best there. Yeah.
Yeah. So how long do you stay out till you pit? And take a look at his lap at the line at P2 is 25.09. So
time to pit.
It's almost you got to lap 140. Like we were saying, you got to come in now. You're losing the second or 2 lap here, and he stays out. Now you get a caution. That screws the 5. 51 is exiting
51
pits.
Is out of the pit. Yeah, we can see him coming out as we follow Derby around the track. And there's the 51 of Dave Jandry getting it back underway. And again, once the guys that have put him a lap down right now make their stops, he'll cycle back around onto the lead lap.
If this stays green, you're going to see the 5 in front. Unless he made a boo-boo on pit road, you know.
Yeah, the 18 continues to stay out as well. There we see Robert still turning laps, as is Derby, as is Joe Cutt, the 8 and the 88 car. So right now, if you look at the running order, Milt, the top 4 are separated by less than 4 seconds. And then the 303 and the 108 are the last 2 on the lead lap right now, as the rest of the guys have elected to already make their green flag stops.
No word on the scanner yet. We're going to take a quick pit stop, sponsored by Budweiser, King of Beers.
And as Milt takes his Budweiser break, the 18 continues to lead. No sign of making a pit stop. He's followed by the 49 of Derby Don, who's given up a position to the 51 of Dave Jandry, who made a pit stop, so he's a lap down right now. So no fight from Derby there, who's definitely on much older tires than Dave, who just made his stop about a lap or 2 ago. So we'll continue to see and monitor when these leaders come in for pits, as we see the 88 of Joe Cutter and the 9 of Ken Hansen there battling it out for position as well. These guys have separated themselves from the rest of the field, and the top 4 there have continued to stay out, and we should be seeing them coming in as we're hitting that magic lap 150, as we do see the bunch of them coming in, as Joe Cutt gets a little loose there and had to lock them up. Lost a lot of time there. That might cost him any hope if it stays green. As we go down the pit lane here, we see the 49 of Derby Don, the 18 of Robert Bokum, the 108 of Dog also in. And we got a bunch of guys in the pits here. The 303 is in, but 18 is in, the 49 is in. Comes the 108 out.
Well, they did like you thought they might, and went all the way almost to 150. So,
and a bunch of guys coming out now. So we're gonna have to see how this running order hashes out. And see, also up we got a guy spinning there. I think that's the 9 of Ken Hansen.
Well,
yeah, that's a bad break for Ken Hansen. He spun the car, and now he's running down pit lane. And that's a really unfortunate mistake there. As we go back out on the track, let's take a look at the running order as we get to lap 150 right now. And the 9 car was leading, but I think when this comes all through again, he's going to be way down the running order now with that spin. That's a really bad break. He had a great run going, but that's what it takes here. It's 200 laps, not 150. And we see the 88 of Joe Cutter showing in 6th place right now as he comes back around to the stripe. He's back now up into 5th. The 5 has taken the lead over the 18 by 6 seconds, Milt.
Yeah, the 16 has retired. I was wolfing some pizza there. Little contact with the 44, but on his pit stall kind of sideways and tried to park it.
The 51 with that early pit stop, Milt, has really paid dividends, as Dave Jandry is pulled up to the 3rd position, just a couple seconds behind Robert Bokum and a couple seconds ahead of Derby Don, who was well ahead of him before the pit stops.
Well, and you look at 5,
Dave Jandry
6
with
seconds.
A great pit stop there.
You know, he pitted way early and than we thought. Would be the window, but he managed to He got 6 seconds on his teammate Robert Bokum there. The field's starting to spread out there. As
we see the 5 working some lap traffic here, getting by the 151 and the 83. And Sean's running a great race. He pitted before everyone else, well before everyone else, about 5 laps before everyone else. But he got into the pits clean, no traffic, came out clean. Started running some low lap times while the other guys are running maybe 1.5 seconds slower, and now it's paid off with a big 5-second lead over his teammate.
Yeah, the deal is though, in like 2 laps, they've already made up. Robert's already made up a 1.5 seconds. So will that continue? Now it's down to 4 point. Now he made 0.60 seconds in 1 lap. Robert's going to close the gap fast here. Yeah,
Robert does have some lap traffic that the 5 had to work through, which may have cut into the lead a little. Now Robert's going to have to work that lap traffic as well. And he's passing some fast cars. He just got by the 9 of Ken Hansen, who goes a lap down. So as you can see, Ken went from leading the race, and now as the green flag stops have been exchanged, he's a lap down. That's how much that spin cost him.
Yeah, definitely. And Ken Ron, too, has dominated the early part of this race. He's really kind of faded away.
Yeah, he kind of used up his equipment when he really may have chose to just run the marathon instead of the sprint. And I think that hurt his chances, and he fell back really fast, really quick. And can't recover now, and then as you can see, he is also a lap down, as is the 108 of Dog Palmer. And Dog has had a really racy car early on in this race, but again, this was a marathon of a 200 lapper that some of these guys might not be accustomed to running so many laps, Milt.
And we still got one more stop, so. And, how's that going to pan out? We'll see. Hopefully you're not hearing me chewing on this pizza too much, because it finally got here, and I'm hungry.
Well, put that microphone on mute while you're chewing. And I'll show you the 5 car, who continues to lead by just now 2 seconds. It was a 6-second lead. Now it's down to 2 seconds, so Robert has eaten into that lead. But Sean continues to enjoy some clean air and running decent lap times. But Robert is stalking him now, and having to battle some lap traffic of his own as the 108, the 303 get around the beat up car of Steve Weber. And these lap cars are also fighting for position at the same time. Robert's trying to get by him and get into his fight for his position, so could be a little dicey here, as guys are actually having battles within battles here. And the 303 gets a good look on the inside of Palmer, as Bokum sits behind him, I'm sure in communication with Ken, saying, take it easy, Ken, don't wreck anything up here, I'm right behind you.
Oh, we got a car around 72, Mike Pruitt. Hard into the wall.
Oh yeah, he's hard into the wall.
Caution is out.
Caution is out. Let's do a quick rewind there and see what happened to Mr. Pruitt. You can see that he had contact with the 9 cars. They went in side by side. Everyone else able to get by. Looks just like a single car incident. But the 9 and the 72 had contact there, Milt.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like a lot of aggression, or really each driver, I don't think, was really racing the spot hard. It was just they funneled into a spot right there, and there was contact. So caution is out.
Yeah, and as we go back live, Milt, the 5 in the pits getting his service for possibly the rest of the race. So we're in 36 laps remaining. So we're in the window of no more stops once you come get this one done, and we can see the battle off pit road here with the 18 car.
Oh boy, that's gonna be close.
That was close, as with the 49 and everyone else running out after him. So everyone on equal footing again, and man, Derby Don made up a ton of time that he lost on the track there.
Look at that, right as the 18's coming out. Oh, the 5 got him.
You can see the lap down cars getting their service done, as looks like the running order is going to be the 5, the 18, the 49, and the 51. And who do you like, Milt? Who do you like for this last dash?
Well, I think Sean Johnson did what he had to do, which was take a risk and hope that he could hold off these guys. Now they're on equal tire footing. I like his chances.
Yeah, I like his chances too, but I also know Robert. He's going to be hard to hold behind. And Derby, I think, has a new lease on. You know, if I'm Derby or Joe Cutt, I got a new lease on life here, Milt. And they were both pretty fast cars. And Derby was pretty fast there in the early runs, and so this could be an opportunity for someone else here too, Milt.
Yeah, all these guys on the lead lap. This is a new lease on life. They definitely had, varying strategies working the long run, and the 5 came out on top, and now it's reset, and now they're all on equal footing with clean cars and fast cars. You can't sprint here. It's still a full fuel run. You can make it, but it's still going to be going to do some tire saving. So it's
I think the only issue here now is you don't want to. If you don't want to burn your tires out in these first 20 laps and then be a sitting duck with 15 to go and you're fighting the car, that's not where you want to be on this track. So we'll see if Sean is able to keep Robert off and not burn up his equipment at the same time, because we know Robert's the master of making people use up their stuff. And they also have some lapped cars on the inside to contend with as well. As we get ready to go green, and Sean will lead them to the stripe, along with Robert Bokum, Derby Don, and Dave Jandry in 4th, and Joe Cutt in 5th. And Sean does get out to a little bit of a lead as Robert clears the lap traffic, and Derby trying to do the same. And it looks like Derby was able to get around Mark Favorite, who was a lap down. And Dave goes up for a big, long hill ride there. He used up all the track there. And Joe Cutt hits the apron and loses a bunch of time. And Ken takes advantage of that. It looked like he really pulled up fast on Mark Favorite and had to get on the brakes, or he would have rammed right in the back of him.
That's always the problem with restarts, when you got cars lapped down, but no lucky dog here, so it's easy for the top 3 or 4 guys, but once you get past that, these guys still have good cars trying to get back on the lead lap, and especially the 9 got no damage. He just got, he wants a race for it, but being behind the 44 several laps down there, highly unlikely.
And Joe Cutt was able to get the back around the 44, and Ken, the 303, the 51, and the 49 now are trying to get together to run down the top two. It remains to be the 5 and the 18, and this is classic Bochum racing here, where he's just going to run his race, and he's going to be there at the end with the best equipment.
Well, and you got teammates here. He had the 15 really on him, and the 15 has pulled some out of the hat here this year. So, gotta wonder what is he looking at his own teammate as far as how he's going to set him up, because they've been working towards this position, and now all of a sudden it's them too, and so. How are they going to deal with this? Let's see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the 49, the 51, the 303 have anything at all to get back to those guys. I don't know if they can do it or not, but if they stay in line and try to run the fastest lap times they possibly can, maybe if the 5 and the 18-2 get side by side to challenge for that position, they could be right there. And the 18 did get around the 5 Milt, so we'll see if this is the beginning of the end of this race.
Well, is Sean gonna do the same thing he did before and break ranks and pit before the team boss there, and hope to get track position, or are they both going to pit early, or Denry White there, and because Derby's starting to make a move here with the 303 close behind, as they both make the move, try to make the move on Dave Gendry.
Yeah, and then where you see the pass, Robert passing Sean on the high side, and it didn't look like Sean just pulled over either on that one. That looked like Robert making the pass. As we go back live, we're at lap 178 of 200, so only 12 laps. 22 laps remaining, Milt, and Robert has taken the lead, and do you think anyone else now has anything for him?
Well, in our team, we always talk, Team FSB, we always talk about, 2 to go, all bets are off. But then, like in these situations like this is when the team channel gets real quiet, because we all know the situation. There's no talking or bargaining, or, you're in the top 5 here. We're all racing for the win, so it pretty much gets quiet and stuff just happens, Strategy's already pretty much laid out, and maybe the drivers might do something spur of the moment for pit stops. And I know in our team, once we get to this point, if we're lucky to have drivers together in this point, then we kind of just let it go, and there's no reason to talk about it. It's gonna, it's up to driver versus driver.
Yeah, and right now, Sean has kept Robert in his sights. He hasn't pulled away by any means, but the rest of the pack is just desperate. You can just feel the desperation in their driving right now, as they just do everything they possibly can to catch the top 2. And it's one of these situations where the harder you try, the harder you make it on yourself. And it looks like these guys just want to get up there so bad and battle it out that they just can't break that distance apart. It's been holding steady lap after lap, and it must be driving all those guys crazy, seeing the top 2 just out of reach.
Yeah, and they haven't been like Team Ferrari, where they just line up and Alonso finishes first and Massa second, move over. They've been racing, so the rest of those guys have also been racing. So, and like you said, the panic, it's amazing in these runs how you can feel like you're running the same as you did the last run, but that just little bit. I mean, it's a 200 lap race, man. I mean, you got foot fatigue, you got mental fatigue.
Yeah,
you got pressure. We got a pass there.
Yeah, we got 15 laps remaining here, Milt, and 18 continues to cover the 5 and the 49 and 51, but they're all within a second. As side by side with Ken Ron and the 88 of Joe Cutter, and the 9 of Ken Hansen, watching this battle and trying to decide who to go with.
Well, if we think 40 laps and they pitted around lap 150, they're going to have to pit within about 4 laps. So I think they're all kind of.
I think they're inside the window now, though, Milt. I think that last pit stop allowed them to be inside the window.
Oh, that's right. My bad.
So I think these guys do not have to make any pit stops to the end. But the 5 is closing in here on the 18. And he got just a great run there. It looked like he almost had to back off, or you would have got into the back of him. And, yeah, the 5 car still has some fight left in him, I think.
Well, I'm sure there's no team orders.
As they get by the 83 car there. That's really bashed in the back there. Amazing he can even keep that car on the track as they get by him. And 49 again, and the 51 just desperately trying to get into the mix, but just cannot close this distance.
Well, you saw Sean take it pretty easy there, but they did battle a little bit. What does he have for him here?
Yeah, and as we see, Milt, we got 10 laps remaining. And if you're going to have something left for someone, I think you need to start thinking about making your move like right now. You can't wait to the last lap here. You need more time to pull off the pass.
Well, like you said, Greg, this is a momentum track, and you can't do it in one corner. You have to do it throughout the whole track and minimize the mistakes and get a good rhythm, so get a nice flow out the corners here.
Yeah,
the question is, can you put enough pressure on somebody to make them do something out of character?
And the answer to that is, if it's Robert Bochum, the answer is no. That's going to be completely irrelevant to him. He's going to hit his marks every lap. He doesn't care who's behind him or how hard they're racing him. He might take a glance up every now and again just to see where they are, but he's not gonna race his mirror. He's gonna race the track, and that's what he always does, and that's why he's always winning.
The 51 is fading back. Really, the only chance I think right now is, unless they have a big problem here, is the 49 at Team FSB.
Yeah, Derby's run a great race. He's just agonizingly off the lead here, and he's running out of laps now, Milt, as we get to 6 laps remaining, and we're going to be, as we cross the start-finish line here, we have 5 laps to go.
Well, the real Derby racer, and I mean, this guy, this Derby racing he does for real. I mean, they've drug him off in the on the stretcher a couple times. and so he's not adverse to pressure, and he has cut it down to half a second.
Yeah,
he's just getting hundredths.
He is probably the fastest car in the track right now, but he's running out of laps. He's only got 4 laps to do it, and Sean will not give up that position easily. And we have 3 laps to go as we are completing lap 197. And
Sean goes wide.
Derby trying to get on the inside of the 5.
These are big points as these guys are battling.
And they're side by. Oh, they touched.
Oh, there's contact.
Sean went high. Derby went low. They continue, but Derby got the position. That was some hard side-by-side racing there. And let's see if Derby has anything in 2 laps to get to the back of Robert.
Welcome's got lap traffic coming up here, so what's going to happen here? Definitely the battle behind him was what he wanted to see.
Yeah, it was able to kind of stretch his lead. Derby desperately trying to claw his way back to the back of him, but maybe the lap traffic might help Derby or not. It might not be enough laps for it.
Got 2 lap cars coming up here. What are they going to do? They're racing for position side by side as the leader comes up here. What's going to happen?
As the white flag comes out, we'll see if Derby. Oh, and there's a wreck in front of the leaders.
Oh, they get
my!
Oh my gosh!
They get through it, and it stays green, I think.
Wow!
Well, it's anyways. Even if it's yellow, they're racing back to the line. This will decide the winner.
Man, pucker moment there. As the top
and it looks like Robert Bokum is going to take the win. Oh, crazy finish there.
And them guys was racing for position there. Not one thing you don't want to take out the leader on the last lap when you're a lap down, but they didn't. So
they didn't, but they sure tried. And wow, what an unexpected finish there. Derby gave a run to him right at the end there, and then as the wreck happened, it looked like Robert was able to get through it just a little cleaner than Derby, who probably had to lift just a bit, and that was the difference as they recovered after the contact there. A great finish though between Robert and Derby, and tough break again for Sean, who had a good car, but maybe that pit strategy it did pay off, got him up there, but in the end Robert just had the better car. And great runs, hey Milt, before we failed to mention it, how about great runs by the 51 and the 88 of Joe Cutter. Avoided all that incidents early on in the race and brought that thing home 5th. That's a great run by Joe Cutter.
That's all you can do, yeah. I mean, against this great competition, that's kind of the deal, is trying to put yourself in a position
and
to win.
And
looking
also
at the end here, wow.
Also accommodations to the dog finishing 7th on the lead lap, Milt.
Yeah, he was there all night. I think the long runs hurt him, not because he did anything wrong, just because of the up against those pro drivers, they just have a little bit more in the tank there, and that's how you gauge yourself, and he'll definitely put that in the notebook.
Oh, absolutely. We can see our official running order. Bokum taking the win. An exciting finish between him and Derby Don, who gets grabbed 2nd. Sean Johnson 3rd, Dave Jandry 4th, Joe Cutter 5th. Ken Ron and Dog Palmer round out the lead lap cars in 6th and 7th. Then a couple guys on a lap down, Guy Peter and Ken Hansen. Ken had a great run going, but made a mistake there getting on the pit lane, spun the car, and that cost him that lap, or he would have been right up there in the mix with those lead lap cars. And then the rest of the guys all had some
spot, man.
Yeah, he had a great run. The rest of the guys there, TG on down, all had some kind of contact and some bad goings on there, including all the guys that retired, who most of them had hit the wall and suffered some damage and just couldn't keep pace. But a great finish and a great win by Robert, and Derby Don always making it exciting.
Well, in the 52 and 72, we're racing for the top 10 there. They just kind of came together. The worst thing you want to do in front of the leader, but I'm sure they didn't mean to do that, but they were racing for, 10th place, and they got together right in front of Robert. I can only imagine. I'm going to look at the in car from Robert as he's watching these guys. You might want to bring that up.
Yeah, we're showing it.
That would be hair raising.
I'm showing it here, Milt. From
he's
TG's
going for the win here.
From TG's perspective here, TG went onto the inside
of. Could do there, but
went to the inside of the 7.
Get out of the way there, but that was crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, the 53 and the 72 were battling.
Like the 72 came down, and the 53 came up a little there. They knew it was last lap, and they were racing there. Unfortunately, it didn't affect the outcome, but
let's take a look from.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, we can take a look from the cockpit of Robert Bocum's car, and you can see the contact right there, right in front of him. Whoa, I mean, that's scary time. And then the 53 getting FSB. All kinds of out of shape, and then he dove down and avoided the damage.
What more can you ask for?
Yeah, we're
going to try to get the podium runners up here.
Yeah, that's some thrilling stuff there, and we can also see the view from kick this out. Doesn't let you stay doing things in there until it only gives you a few minutes. But
yeah, the server is closed.
A great race, and just a thrilling finish there between Robert and Derby Don.
Yeah, Derby really, all these drivers kind of did what they had to do. It just seemed like Team Bocum Motorsports just really had a little bit more than everybody else had there with Kenron early, and then later with Bocum and Sean Johnson. They were just,
I agree. Yeah,
they dominated this race from front to finish. Tough luck for Kenron, but his teammates just kind of stepped right in there and took it over.
Absolutely, they did a great job, and just an really impressive run by all the lead lap guys. Really put on a good show, and yeah, that last little incident there really could have shaken things up, but the guys held their ground and didn't panic and didn't jerk the wheels or do anything like that, and they got through it. And finished off to be a great race, so I appreciate it, Milty. And we racked up some footage here, so we're gotta cut it down to a little bit here, so it doesn't take 3 hours to load it up.
Hey, you want me to drag them guys in, or you just want to cut it off here?
Yeah, we're gonna cut it off because we already got over a gigabyte of race here. But,
all right, great
appreciate the time, Milty, and catch you on the next race. FSBRacing.com.